Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Kaylee and these are my books. So today's video is going to be my TBR game, which again is always one of my favorite videos to film. This is my TBR game for January. Super excited to find out what books I will be reading in the first month of the year. But first, some important updates. I got a new bookshelf. It looks empty. How amazing is that? It's not incredibly full. I no longer have books fully stacked up like in front of each other row of books. It's just the single stack now. Amazing. Look at all this breathing room. Like I'm not sure if you could see the books in this shelf, but that's it. The bottom two shelves are empty. We got so much room to work with now. And a second update that is incredibly important, even more important about the bookshelf update. Teddy and I got matching sweaters. Look at these. Look at these. Let me put his hood on. Let me put my hood on. Like mother, like son. I'm sure my hair is all crazy now, but Teddy loves his sweater, and so I had to show it off because, you know, I'm standing up in this video, so there's no way for him to perch above me like he normally does, but he looks so cute, so I had to show him. All right, though, so I think I'm just gonna jump into me playing the game. As always, I'm playing my TBRLAND game, which is a TBR game inspired by Candyland, so I'm gonna switch to me playing that game. Hello, I can't find my game piece, so I'm gonna use this Hershey Kiss this month. First card pull. One blue, so we're moving. Oh God, Teddy wants the game piece. Can't have that. We're moving to a KU thriller or horror book. All right, so the first card pull landed us on the KU section in the thriller and horror area. So KU just means find a thriller or horror book on Kindle Unlimited. And I think I'm actually gonna go for the one that I chose in December because I never got around to it. It is called The Visitor by Sergio Gomez, up on the screen here somewhere. This is a snowed in, isolated setting Christmas horror book where a bunch of people are trying to get home for Christmas. There's a massive snowstorm. They all get stranded at this diner. And possibly aliens come? I'm not incredibly sure. I mean, you're seeing the same cover I'm seeing. It looks like an alien on front. And I know the synopsis says that the white snow is gonna turn red, so I'm excited. I'm sad I didn't get to this before Christmas, but I was just having so much fun hanging out with my family that not a lot of reading got done, so I'm gonna catch up in January. And I want to read this snowy setting thriller book in a month when it's still cold, although I do live in Central Texas and it's currently 75 degrees out right now, but you know, you gotta work with what you're given. Second card pull is one pink, so we're moving just one space to a backlist thriller or horror book. All right, the next card pull landed us on backlist thriller or horror book, and so for this, I'm choosing Wonderland by Jennifer Hillier. This is a book that I have been wanting to read for so freaking long because I've read two of Jennifer Hillier books, Things We Do in the Dark and Jar of Hearts, and both of them were solid 5 stars. I loved both so freaking much, but those are, well, Jar of Hearts isn't new, but Things We Do in the Dark is her newest book, and so I've really been wanting to go back and explore her backlist. And Wonderland, I believe, is about like a spooky, scary amusement park. And I love amusement parks. I grew up right next to Disneyland. I went to Disneyland all the time. I've developed an amusement park complex. I think they're amazing, but also very creepy, and I really want to read a book about amusement parks. And therefore, I'm so excited to combine my huge want to read about amusement parks with an author I already completely trust. Now, I'm not gonna read the full synopsis for Wonderland because I really just don't want to read the full synopsis because I want to go in partially blind to this book. But I'm gonna read you about a sentence from it because this sentence caught my eye and I think it sells it better than I can sell the book. So basically it's talking about how there's an eerie feeling over this amusement park, and it's saying, maybe it's the Clown Museum, home to creepy wax replicas of movie stars and a massive collection of antique porcelain dolls. Or maybe it's the terrifyingly real House of Horrors. Or maybe it's the dead, decaying body left in the midway for all the wonder workers to see. Sold. I need to read it immediately. Third card pull. 2 greens, good movement. So we're moving past fave author into a horror, thriller or horror novella. All right, so the next card pull landed me on a thriller or horror novella, and so I'm choosing Chainsaw Hooker for this. This is my very first Judith Sonnet book, and I bought this book, the ebook of it, back in October because I was hearing a lot of my friends read it and really, really love it. I knew nothing about it. I just heard the name Chainsaw Hooker, and I was like, okay, I'll buy it. But basically, I believe we follow a woman as our main female protagonist, and she gets a demonic chainsaw to wreak havoc amongst the evildoers because there's a possible apocalypse situation that could be happening, and she is trying to use this chainsaw to thwart the evil in the world. It sounds silly, it sounds ridiculous. I know it's extreme horror, so it's gonna be very, very, very gory and gross, and that's what I'm hoping for. I'm just really wanting those vibes right now. And of course, this is a novella. It's about 150 pages, I believe. It sounds like our main female protagonist, RJ, is working for the devil, and the devil gifted her a demonic chainsaw. But she's doing good things because she's sending the evildoers straight to hell, it says. I'm a little bit confused. I don't know if she's a villain or a hero, but either way, I'm here for it. Okay, I moved the board down a little bit so you can see better, but we're moving into our fourth card pull, double blue, good movement again. So we're moving past Goodreads and out of the thriller or horror section into the fantasy and sci-fi section, and we're moving to the space that says sci-fi. All right, the next card pull landed us on the sci-fi spot. So for this, I get to choose any sci-fi book I want to read, and I am choosing Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 3 in the Skyward series, and I have read and adored Skyward and Starsight, books 1 and 2, and I've read 2 of the novellas as well. I don't remember which 2 novellas I've read, but I've read the 2 that take place before this book. And my friend Emma so kindly gifted this to me for Christmas. I will be having a Christmas book haul coming out in the next couple of days, but because I just got this book in the mail and Emma has gifted me the opportunity to read it, I need to read it ASAP. I don't know how I've gone this long without reading this because I've reread Skyward book 1, I think 4 times. That's how much I love this series. And for some reason, I've never gotten to book 3. I don't know. I can't explain myself. But January is the month where I get caught up in this series, read Cytonic. Maybe I'll even fit in the 3rd novella that I haven't read yet because I love this and I need to continue. But if you don't know anything about the Skyward series, I'm not going to tell you the synopsis for book 3 because that's going to spoil stuff. But for book 1, Skyward, this is a YA sci-fi series where basically we follow a human colony on this abandoned junk planet. And in this world, aliens exist and they are known to the humans, but this human colony is at war with the aliens who have chased them across the galaxy and are trying to get to this human colony on this planet. And so this colony is their society is very much focused on war, and being a coward is like the worst thing that you can be. The best thing you can be is a pilot, because then you go out in your spaceships and you fight the aliens up in space. Our main character in this story, Spensa, is an outcast in this society because her dad was a famous pilot, but then turned against his team and has been branded a coward. And so Spensa has grown up as the daughter of a coward, and she is trying to become a pilot. So there's a lot of prejudice against her, a lot of people that don't want her to be a pilot, and she is just working against everyone, saying, I don't care what you think of me, I'm gonna be a pilot, I'm gonna defend this colony, we'll see what I can do. And it's just all about Spensa going to pilot school, and it's such a fun read. I love it so much. This is a series with found family tropes and lots of politics, a school setting that continues in book 1 and book 2, and the world just gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you read more books in the series. Oh God, Teddy is really interested in the board. I don't even know if you can see him, but next card pull is another double blue. Oh my God, another double blue. Okay, so we're moving up to ebook, past ebook, and into booktuber fave. I'm not sure if you could see that. Let me move it down. So we just moved from sci-fi past ebook and over to booktuber fave, and we're still in the fantasy or sci-fi section, so it's a booktuber fave fantasy or sci-fi book. All right, next I landed on booktuber fave, and for this I am selecting A Touch of Light because this is Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy's one of her favorite books, and this was on my November TBR. And then I think I even put it on my December TBR, and here it is on my January TBR. No fault of the book. I've just been a bit slumpy lately. I think the holidays really just made me want to be hanging out with my friends and family, not reading at all, which is completely okay. I don't feel guilty about that at all, but it just has meant that I haven't gotten the time to read this book. And I want to read this book when I have the full attention to give to this book, since I am reviewing it for Cassidy's version of SPFBO. If you don't know what that is, I'll leave some details about that in the description box below, because I did a prediction video. Cassidy has an explanation video, and we even have a website where we're posting all of our reviews. But January, I will be reading this. I'll be reading a bunch of SPFBO books in January, but this is the one that's officially on the TBR. So this A Touch of Light is an adult fantasy book where we follow 3 different points of views. We have 2 conflicting societies, one society that celebrates life and one society that celebrates death. And I believe this book focuses a lot on religion's power over society, the church's influence over politics, and how their conflicting views of life and death kind of put these 2 societies against each other, but then they possibly have to work together when there's some outside forces going on. I could be explaining that very, very wrong. I have not read this book yet. Perhaps I'll just read the little one-line hook that the author so kindly gives us. Dive into this sweeping epic fantasy saga where religion and politics are one. Magic brings terror into the hearts of men, and a looming blight threatens to tear everything down. I'm super excited for this one. This is the book I put as the top place in my prediction video. I'm pretty sure I'm going to love it, so I can't wait to actually get to it. Oh, an important note about it, it's self-published too. And this book was so kindly gifted to me by Mel, and again, it's going to be featured in my December book haul, but a little preview, these 2 books will be in that book haul. All right, our 6th card pool is Double Pink. The Game is being so nice this month. So we're moving out past traditionally published romance into a mafia romance. All right, so next we landed on Mafia, and I am again recycling a book that was on a past TBR that I did not get to because I really want to read it, so I'm re-putting it on this TBR. And so for a Mafia romance book, I am choosing book 3 in Sophie Lark's Brutal Birthright series. I've read book 1 and book 2. I gave book 1 5 stars, gave book 2 4 stars. Really enjoyed both of them, and I really want to continue on with Sophie Lark's backlist. I'm trying to read them all in the correct order, even though I know you don't have to. I just love her world and all the different characters, and I really want to be able to catch all of the different references and cameos that are happening throughout these books, but they are all standalones. This 3rd book is called Savage Lover, and I'm not sure the exact synopsis because when I look it up, it's just one of those more like teasers than a synopsis for what this story it's set up actually is, but I believe it's a bully romance, enemies to lovers, and I believe our heroine is in trouble with a dirty cop, and our hero is going to very begrudgingly help her out. And along the way, they fall in love. All right, our 7th card pull is 1 purple, so then we're moving into a serial killer or kidnapping romance. Teddy, God, no. Next up, I landed on the serial killer or kidnapping romance spot. And so for this, I am putting Famine by Laura Thalassa in my TBR. I am in the middle of War right now. I really need to finish it because I promised Kitty from Spicy Cats, her channel will be linked in the description box below, that we could buddy read this book because I really want to buddy read Famine with her. And then I keep not finishing War in time. So I'm really trying to do my best to finish War. That way I can buddy read Famine with Kitty as soon as possible. This is likely going to be a book I start right on the 1st of January, hopefully, because that means I've finished with War. But this is basically a romance book that features the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The Famine is, of course, about famine. And, you know, I'm not incredibly sure, like, if there's kidnapping in it. I'm assuming there's kidnapping in it. There's been kidnapping in book 1 and book 2, because otherwise why would the heroine stay with a scary horseman of the apocalypse, you know? Like, she has to be kidnapped. But either way, serial killer does work because these people are killing thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So they're mass serial killers. It's a little bit of a loose stretch because when I was writing serial killer / kidnapping, I wasn't anticipating putting like supernatural serial killers on there, but it works. It's my board. I don't know why I'm trying to make it sound like I'm cheating my own board when I'm the one who makes the rules, you know? But Famine, it counts for serial killer kidnapping romance. I'm really excited to read this book. I loved Pestilence so much. Pestilence got 5 stars. I'm in the middle of War. I have about 200 pages left. It's 500 pages total, so I am over halfway through. And I'm liking it, but I'm not liking it as much as Pestilence, so I'm hoping Famine goes back up to Pestilence's level for me. War is sitting at like a 3.5/4 right now, but my thoughts could completely change with the last 200 books. Still have a good chunk to read. But I'm excited to officially put Famine on my TBR for January. All right, our 8th card pull. It could be our last, depending on what it is. Let's see. A double purple. Oh my god, it is our last. We're moving past TikTok and into the mood read. So we finished the board. And then next we landed on the mood read spot, finishing up the board. But of course, I have to take a punishment because I did not finish my November TBR. And of course, my punishments are a little bit delayed because I'm still filming this in December. So I don't know if I finished my December TBR at this point. But I do know I did not finish my November TBR. I think I was off by quite a few books in November. So instead of getting a mood read, I got a randomly generated books. And so basically I put all the shelves through a random number generator, pick a shelf, and then I count all the books on that shelf and put that number through a random number generator, and it selects a book for me. So I have no control over this choice, and it always makes me very nervous. But this month it chose A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross for me. And this is one of my very pretty books. I got it from Illumicrate back when I was getting the Illumicrate boxes. I mean, look at these end pages. Oh my goodness. Is there foiling? Ooh, and there is some foiling on the hardcover. Foiling on the hardcover is my favorite. It's my favorite part of special editions for some reason. I think it's because it's shiny and I love shiny things. This is an adult fantasy, and I believe this is a whimsical, beautiful, atmospheric fantasy, which I don't always vibe with. There are some of my favorite books that fit this category though, so I'm not saying I'm going to dislike this, but there's a reason why I haven't picked it up in like the over a year since I've gotten it. But basically the synopsis is a bunch of young girls start going missing in this village, and so our female protagonist thinks that the spirits are angry and are taking the young girls, and she has really good knowledge of the spirits, but she knows that they will only answer to one particular kind of music, and her childhood enemy is the only person in the village that can create that kind of music. So they reluctantly have to team up, even though they both hate each other, to figure out what's going on with the spirits and why these young girls are going missing. I believe there is some romance in here too. I'm not sure how heavy the romance plot is, like if the focus is more on the fantasy plot or the romance plot, perhaps half and half. But I'm hoping for some steam. We'll see if it's in here. I have no idea what the steam level of this book is. But I'm excited to give it a go, and even if I hate it, I can add it to my bookshelf and have it look very pretty. I only had to put 8 books on my official TBR. I'm of course going to end up reading a lot more. There are some required reads that I have that I need to figure out even what I've agreed to read to this month, but these 8 books are in addition to those book club reads. And I only actually own 3 of the 8 books that are on my TBR. So the other 5 are all ebooks, which isn't always the best because I'm trying to read the books that I own, and I only own 3 of the 8. Not great. But I was landing on a lot of novellas and KU spaces, and I don't buy novellas because they're so expensive for like 30 minutes of reading time. And then KU, the whole point is it's on KU. I don't own it. Not great in terms of movement from the TBR shelf to the red shelves, but I'm still incredibly excited for this month's TBR. But let me know down in the comments what you will be reading in the month of January, if you have any reading goals that you're hoping to accomplish starting in January. And let me know in the comments if you've read any of the books I plan to read in January. If you liked this video, please give me a like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you next time. Bye!